It was all black, a little bit of a gray cloud, and then the fire. I can, right side, I can see it every day.
Ariel says he vividly remembers the moment when he fired the gun, because that's really the crucial moment in this case. Did he fire into the crowd? Did he fire straight up?
It's a case where at first you look at it and you're like, wow, he was there, he did have a gun at the scene in a car. On that night, the Bulls had just won their 5th NBA championship. When they were at this intersection, it was crowds of people who had taken to the street to celebrate the Bulls' victory.
My initial impressions were like, I don't know what we're supposed to be finding out about this. We already have all these documents here, and there's been a million appeals.
Police records, the court trial transcripts, they only paint half the picture. I was pretty sure that Ariel Gomez was guilty just looking at his handwritten confession. And then I realized that confession wasn't written by him.
I am amazed at some of the assumptions that the initial court drew.
The ballistics say that the gun Ariel Gomez had the night of the murder could not have been the gun that killed Concepcion Diaz. The bullets just didn't match.
You know, the shooting range is not simply for fun. I do think the students actually have some fun with it, but the idea is that they understand a little bit about firearms and a little bit about the particular kind of weapon that was used in the case that we're investigating.
They fired the same caliber weapon. They understand the dynamics of the weapon system itself. They understand the limitations of the shooter. Let's take a walk out.
The crime scene, I mean, it was really interesting just to be able to see it in person, and because it was at the beginning of our investigation, it really helped me knit everything together.
So going to the crime scene, we could see where maybe the car was, where the victim possibly was, what corner was the main focus. So it helped me to definitely lay it out, and now I can describe it to witnesses and people we're interviewing much better.
Because she said she heard two rounds of shots. One was by the bus stop, and the other one was in the shell.
So the location of shots varies widely.
We've just been hearing so many different, completely different accounts of what happened. It's just shocking how, like, two people can be standing right next to each other and remember completely different things of how a shooting went down. The interesting things that we found from re-interviewing witnesses who were included on the police reports was that 3 witnesses who weren't called to testify in trial said that the police had tried to make them identify Ariel Gomez as the shooter. We knew from the get-go that the lead detective on this case, Detective Reynaldo Guevara, is a controversial officer. We know that there have been dozens of allegations against Detective Guevara for beating witnesses, for beating suspects, for coercing witnesses to give false statements.
As soon as Reynaldo Guevara goes in there, the first thing he does is smack me. Not a word, not anything, he just smacks me. He wants me to sign a statement saying that I shot him. I'm telling him no, he hits me. He beat me up for maybe at least 20 minutes.
The prison visit is actually quite important. It's an opportunity for the students to meet the prisoner face-to-face for often the one and only time during the investigation. It requires going through a lot of hoops with the prison system.
I was the one in charge of setting things up, and I was expecting a long, hard fight with bureaucracy. But everything went extremely smoothly. They were extremely accommodating with us bringing in a recorder and camera, although they didn't let us bring in a video camera.
I drove the team out there on the morning of, so we left at like 5 a.m. and drove out there.
I think one of the most emotional parts of the interview was when he was describing how he's adapted to living in prison.
It feels like I'm numb. As long as nothing happens to my family, everything else just let it pass by. It's like I'm numb to whatever happens.
He definitely got tired as it went on. It was like a 4-hour interview though, so I think we all got tired. But yeah, he was pretty upbeat considering that he's been in prison for so long and he's still got until 2016 until he's released. But I didn't walk away like completely believing him or completely not believing him.
But I also remind them that they need to keep an open mind, that they are journalists first and last, and that we are not advocates and and that we have to search for that truth, however inconvenient it may be.
I guess what I took away from the interview is that it was just another reminder that someone's life is on the line with the story that we're doing.
Ariel has struggled to maintain hope. Ariel was raised Baptist, and his mother, Ariel Gomez, sent him a ton of Bibles and religious texts.
In prison, I got to the point where I said, if God exists, he doesn't want anything to do with me. I was no angel. I did a lot of things. I mean, I did a lot of things, but I never killed anybody.